Good afternoon, Your Honor. Caleb Wagner on behalf of the state.
No, come on out. This is the date and time set for sentencing. The records show the presence of the defendant. Our advisory counsel is here. And Mr. Wagner, are you appearing before the state?
Yes.
This is the date and time set for sentencing. Good.
Excuse me, how you doing?
No, I'm talking now.
Okay.
Listen to me. Is your true name and your complete name Shayna Marie Blackshire?
The court lacks jurisdiction over the subject matter.
What is your date of birth?
The court lacks jurisdiction over the subject matter.
The court will accept the court, based upon a verdict by the guilty in this case.
The court lacks jurisdiction over personal addiction.
As a result of a jury trial, the court finds the defendant is guilty in CR 22209.
You can already feel the tension in the room. The judge's voice is steady, almost formal, but beneath it sits years of exhaustion. Another defendant insisting on control, another life tangled in defiance. Shayna stands there alone, representing herself, and the paperwork lists for separate felonies. It's the calm before the storm.
So, Mr. Wagner, do you want to be heard on behalf of the state?
I do, Your Honor.
And if the victims wish to be heard, we have victims here in the courtroom, a victim, I think, I'm not sure.
No, Your Honor. She's outlasted the victims.
She's outlasted the victim. Do you wish to be heard?
The victims have had to return back to their homes in Oregon, and they're not here, which is a detriment to them. They had as much a right to be here as she did for sentencing, but she is her own attorney, and she's drugged us out long enough that the victims aren't here to give a statement today.
Right, so y'all can't do that. Y'all cannot force me. Y'all can't sentence me like this.
Ms. Blackshire, I believe that these are repetitive and that she should be subject to the Category 2 repetitive offender statutes. She committed these crimes. She was taken into custody for the first crimes, the 208, Your Honor. She was taken into custody for 208. She made bond and was released on bond. And then she committed these separate offenses while on felony pretrial release.
I just want to make clear, to save your words, I do intend to impose the enhancement of 2 years for the crimes being committed while on release. So I just want to...
All right, thank you.
If there was any confusion about that, I wanted to straighten it out. I apologize for interrupting you, but I thought it was something to clarify up front.
This is illegal.
I believe that it's more than warranted. She was sentenced. Those were separate cases. She was released from those cases, and she committed the new cases. Not only did she commit these crimes separately from the...
When the prosecutor explains that Shayna committed new crimes while out on bond, it lands hard. It's not just about theft or burglary anymore. It's about trust broken twice. The victims, forced to travel from Oregon, couldn't even stay to watch this moment. Imagine being so drained by someone's chaos that you just can't face it again.
You're taking her out. You're not? Okay.
But I don't want to be in here.
Staying in.
To leave.
Oh, you're bringing the chair in. Okay, that's fine. I apologize, Mr.
No,
That's fine, Your Honor.
I was getting signals from the defense.
That's fine. I also would point out to the court that the unlawful flight from law enforcement...
All right, stand by. Apparently they're going to restrain her and bring her back in. All right. All right. Defendant is back. You may continue, Mr. Wagner.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would also point out to the court that count 1, the unlawful flight from law enforcement, and count 5, the resisting arrest counts, are not in any way connected with the prior the 208 case. They're separate victims there. These are definitely separate incidents. The state would argue that as well for count 4, the burglary, Your Honor.
No, I'm not relaxing. Y'all did a legal. The court lacks jurisdiction over the subject matter. Y'all don't have no right. Get this shit off of me.
If I could have just a second, Your Honor.
I ain't never been fighting with y'all.
What's the statutory reference to the 2-year enhancement? I can't remember that.
It is, I'm sorry, Your Honor, it is 708D. And I don't know that I made that entirely clear, but it just whatever the sentence, the court prescribes each sentence gets a 2-year enhancement.
Is that ARS 13-727?
Yes, I'm sorry, ARS 13-7.
Then everything snaps. The courtroom suddenly becomes chaos. The judge keeps composure while officers restrain Shayna. She's shouting, accusing, rejecting authority, a textbook collapse of control. This is the moment viewers will replay. Because it's not just a tantrum. It's what happens when pride replaces reason.
Today, just to watch, I suppose.
Very well. Thank you very much. All right, the court imposes a sentence as follows. As to count 1, unlawful flight, a Class 5 felony, the court, as I said, finds the offense to be non-repetitive, non-dangerous. The court imposes the presumptive term of 1.5 years in the Arizona Department of Corrections. The court imposes an additional 2 years sentencing enhancement because this offense was committed while the defendant was on pretrial release, and that's pursuant to ARS 13708D. So the total sentence as to count 1, Class 5 felony, is 3.5 years. As to count 2, this is the misdemeanor criminal damage. The court imposes a sentence of time served. As to count 4, again, the court finds this to be non-dangerous and non-repetitive. This is burglary in the 2nd degree, Class 3 felony. The court imposes the presumptive term of 3.5 years. The court also imposes the sentencing enhancement pursuant to 13708D of 2 years. So the total offense level, the total sentence for count 4 is 5.5 years. As to count 5, resisting arrest, it's a Class 6 felony, non-dangerous, non-repetitive. The court imposes the presumptive sentence of 1 year. The court further imposes the sentencing enhancement as required by law under ARS 13708D for 2 years for a total of 3 years as to count 5.
3.5 years here, 5.5 there. The math adds up quickly. You can hear how surgical the judge's tone becomes. No emotion, just statute after statute. But that calm delivery hits harder than yelling. It's justice speaking through exhaustion, saying, you had chances, and you threw them away.
Case number CR 22208. Right, so the sentence imposed as to count 4 in this particular case is to run consecutive to the sentence imposed in case number CR 22208. That's because this defendant was released in the prior case, 22208, when it was a justice court case. She was released when she posted bond on July 7th, 2021. She failed to appear and a warrant was issued for your arrest on October 20th, 2021. The events in this particular case are alleged to have occurred, I believe, on February 5th, 2022. So the events that happened at the Morningstar Ranch that were the subject of 22208 are alleged to have occurred on the dates those were alleged to have occurred back on June 12th, 2021. So the prior case, the burglary, alleged to have occurred on June 12, 2021. The fraudulent schemes in 22208 was alleged to have occurred on or about July 6th. She was found guilty of that by the jury. So she was charged with that case, released, went out and committed basically new offenses relating to the same properties. For those reasons, the court runs the sentence on count 4 consecutive to the sentence imposed in case number CR 22208. You got all that, I think? All right. Any bonds are posted, are not exonerated.
What's most brutal is when the judge links this case to her older one. She was literally free on bond when she went out and did it again. This isn't just legal punishment. It's a timeline of self-destruction. Viewers might wonder, was this arrogance or desperation? Maybe both.
Posed. Did you wish to, well, I'm not going to ask you whether you wish to address the court. You've clearly indicated you're not capable of doing that and following the rules of the court. You have the right to appeal the judgment of the court. If you wish to appeal, you must file a written notice of your intent to appeal, and you must do that within 15 days of today's date. Otherwise, you will lose that right. Ms. Blackshire, do you wish the court to appoint an attorney to represent you on the appeal? No, he will not be representing you on the appeal. Do you wish to have an attorney appointed to represent you on the appeal? If you cannot afford to pay one, the court will pay the costs of an attorney to represent you on appeal. That will include the costs of the lawyer's legal fees and legal costs. You will not have to pay anything. Do you wish to have an attorney appointed to represent you on the appeal? Appeals are specialized actions, and Court of Appeals is very sticky with their rules. They're very strict, and it's a real specialty with someone who knows how to write good appeals. I met with you before when you were here before, and we met not in chambers, but in the holding cell area. It's all on the record, what I'm referring to, and I advised you that it really is in your best interest, I believe, to have a lawyer represent you on appeal, and you indicated at that time that you don't want a lawyer to represent you on appeal. I'd really encourage you to do it. I think it's in your best interest, but it's your choice.
You said I need what with that?
You're excused. You're remanded to the custody of the sheriff to be delivered to the Arizona Department of Corrections to fulfill a sentence.
How much
What?
time?
Hold on a second. What?
How much time did you give me? You just said a whole bunch of numbers.
Yeah, you can take them. You're excused. Thank you. Good luck. All right. I'm not having the defendant step forward to sign for notification of her rights and to sign the judgment in this particular case. She's consistent.
And even in the end, with freedom gone and the door about to close, she refuses legal help. The judge practically begs her to take an appellate lawyer, but Shayna shakes her head. That silence says everything. Pride has replaced protection. You can feel the courtroom's air change as she's led away. Some cases end in violence or tears. This one ends in quiet tragedy. A woman convinced she's her own savior walks straight into a 12-year sentence. The judge's final words, "Good luck," sound less like dismissal and more like a final prayer.